Good morning, dear students of Class 8. Welcome to online class from LPM Public School, Golawaliya. He is science teacher, DPS SIR. Today is my chapter which is going on in process, chapter 2, Microorganisms, Friend and Foe. My today's topic will be about diseases causing microorganisms in plant. In previous topic, I have explained you about the various types of communicable diseases and those microorganisms which causes the spread of disease. I have named those microorganisms. In our today's class, we will study about the diseases that occurs in plant due to those microorganisms. Just like plant which causes disease, just like wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, as well as just like a disease named in plant citrus canker. Citrus canker is a disease which took place in the orange lemon is due to the bacterial infection. That disease, citrus canker, is caused due to the microorganisms naming bacteria. One more example I want to give you about rust of wheat. This is a disease that occurs in wheat plant due to the fungi that is spread through either air or through the infected seed. And now I am going to explain you about the disease causing microorganisms in animals. There are few organisms. Just like anthrax is the name of disease which is caused in human being also as well as cattle also. And this anthrax disease that occurs in human as well as animals is due to do you know which microorganism is responsible for the disease anthrax? I want to tell you, anthrax is the disease that occurs in human being as well as animals by the source of bacteria. One more example I will say about the foot and mouth disease, which mostly occurs in the cattle. Cow, buffalo, cattle, these are the cattle. So this foot and mouth disease that called blisters in their foot and in the mouth, that is called the foot and mouth disease, that occurs due to the microorganism virus. As well as there are few microorganisms that spread on the food material and destroy the food, spoil the food. The food might no longer be unuseful. A bad smell will come from it. And if we are consuming that infected food, it might occur food poisoning in us. So, fungi, bacteria are responsible for such type of food poisoning disease. Fungi, bacteria are responsible for such type of spoiling the food disease that is called the food poisoning. So, the two bacteria that causes the food poisoning type of disease are Salmonella and Clostridium botulinum, Clostridium botulinum and Salmonella are the name of the two bacteria that spoils the food. So further, I am going to explain you about. So our third point is about the food preservation. So students, food preservation is the method in which two processes are involved, either physically or by adding chemicals in it to preserve it for a longer time, so that we can stop the spoiling of food. Just like in physical method, suppose in the morning time the milkman has came to give you the milk and you don't have the refrigerator, so you should have to boil. If you have to eat the milk in the night time, so in hot moist climate, it is most probably that the milk will spoil. So if you want to keep the milk safe, you should boil the milk properly 2 to 3 times after a few interval of time. So this boiling of food after few hours, repeating this process will keep the milk safe from spoilage, and this is a physical process. Same way, few things are added, few chemicals in them, just like vinegar. In pickle, vinegars are added, and there, by the help of that chemical vinegar, it keeps the pickle safe and we could store it for a longer period of time. So students, preservation of food are done by two processes, either you do by physical process or by chemical process. Physical example I have just given you now, by boiling it, cooling it. Next, chemical method, by adding salt, sugar, vinegar in few food products that will keep it safe for a longer time. So now I am going to tell you about the advantages, what are the benefits of preservation of food. So the advantage is that if we are preserving the food, then there will be a reduce in wastage. There will be reduction in the rate of wastage. If we were not taking any steps of preserving it, so its rate of being spoiled is very high. But when we started the process of preservation, the rate of being wasting start reducing. So while applying this process food preservation, we can stop the spoiling wastage of food materials. And the also plus point of the food preservation is that in any off season, we could take the benefit of this food preservation. How you can say? Just like you can eat many such things that are not found in that season, but though you can get it and you can prepare food from it. Just like pea seeds, which are stored under some chemical process, by adding vinegar under some chemical process, by lowering its temperature. Okay, that we call it Hindi sabut matar, which is preserved, so that in every time we can take the benefit of that pea, just like matar paneer you are eating. So matar are kept under certain preservative method, that its season is in the winter, but it is also available in market in the summer, in the rainy, in any climatic conditions it is available. How? It is only with the benefit of the method of preservations, and this is one of the advantages of food preservations. Next, if we start preserving the food will last, and there will be no shortage of food supply, because when there creates shortage of food supply, when the food spoils soon, then there is a lack of food, and due to the lack of food, there is a shortage of food in the society. So after following this rule of preservation, there is also availability of food. There is no any shortage. So next, students, I am going to explain about the few more methods. So you can see here, I have written the fourth point, method of food preservations. How we could preserve the food. For preserving food, there are various methods, different methods, that how could we preserve the food. First is dehydration method, that is by drying under sun. Few things just like mango, amla, okay, these things, few fruits and few vegetables, to keep it safe from being lost due to moistness present in them, they are kept under the sun so that the sun's heat could evaporates the water, means dehydrates the excess water present in that fruits and vegetables, so that when it will become dry, then there will be no any possibilities of being harmed by any microorganisms. Next is heating. Few things are heated properly so that the moisture from it could be given out, and if there is no moisture, then the microorganisms cannot develop in that, because microorganisms will develop in the moist zone, moist climatic conditions, moist areas. So by heating, we will remove the moisture, excess water from it, so that we could save it from the microorganisms. Next is boiling. Boiling is also a method. In heating and smoking, just like is a method by which we preserve the fish, meat, raw meat, which is cut into small pieces, and salt is just put over that piece, and it is hanged in the sun so that the moistness of present ingredients should be absorbed, and from internal it become dry. So in dry conditions, the microorganisms are not able to grow. Third is boiling. Boiling is a method. It is done at home, just like milk. In case of milk, just boil it so that the germs, by boiling, the few certain germs dies, so that it cannot harm or destroy the milk. Next is salt and sugar. Salt is also a method. By adding salt in pickle, salt absorbs, takes out the excess water from that, just like mango, amla. When you make a pickle of those, you just put salt, mix with the salt, and salt just suck the moisture present in that by the process of osmosis. It pulls out the water present, excess water present in that mango and amla pieces, so that to store it properly without any harm from the microorganisms. Just like 16 to 18% of water is taken out, excess water is taken out due to the salt, as well as sugar in the squares, jam. Sugar is added so that it could make it dense and remove the excess water from that sauce and squares, because if there is excess water, there might be microorganisms present and it will harm those, make it destroy those sauce and spices, jams. So sugar and salt are put to just preserve the pickle, sauce, spices, these all things. Next is oil and vinegar. While preparing pickle, you might have seen that in your house when your mother prepares pickle, she dip the pickles in oil and add, might be vinegar as added, so that the vinegar and oil keeps away the entrance of the microorganisms and so we can save it. Chemical method. By adding sodium benzoate and sodium bisulfite, these two are the chemicals which could be added to preserve the food for longer time. Next is refrigeration. Refrigeration is a process by which we could bring down the temperature of that object very low, and few things are also packed and kept under very low conditions temperature. In two conditions, one is at very high temperature and there is a very low temperature. At these two movements, the microorganisms are inactive, they can't be active, and when they are not active, they will not be able to spoil. So one method is refrigeration, putting it at very in -degree. Other is the pasteurization. This is the method invented by Louis Pasteur. He just showed the method that suppose milk, first we boil the milk at 80 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 minutes. Then after we will keep it at very low chilled conditions to preserve the milk. So by boiling, few germs are killed through that, and for keeping it in chilled particle, chilled at very low temperature, it removes inactive those germs from the spoilage of the milk. This method is called partial. Here is a dual method. In this single method, there is a dual method. One is by first boiling it at 80 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 minutes, then putting it under very low temperature. Okay, so by doing these two conditions, so that in those both the cases the microorganisms must not be active, and this whole method is called pasteurization, and it was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Next is storage and packing. So few items are there which is available for me in every season, for us in every season. Okay, so for that things are stored properly airtight container, so that it could last for longer times, and in off season also we can get the benefit of those things. So for that, the companies pack it in an airtight container, so that there might not any scope of coming of microorganisms inside it and spoiling it. So these are the various steps, various methods for preservation of the food. So today up to here only, students. Meet you in the next class. Whatever the task I will give you, provide you from here, you must do it. And just go through the video properly. What I have explained you, listen carefully, properly. Okay, hope so you have enjoyed the class. Thank you. Have a nice day.